So, I was going to just continue my LP of Trials of Mana today, but after taking a moment and seeing something that happening in the video game industry that just truly disgusts me, I had to take a moment and instead I'm going to be talking about this. Before we continue though, I would like to say hello to my newest sub, Cassie Portnow. Welcome, I hope you enjoy your stay here. Either way, let's get into it. So, for those who don't know, the Culling is making a comeback. Or I should be saying it's making its third comeback. Because for people who do not know the timeline of the Culling, it was created, it died, it had a sequel, it died even faster. So this is the third time it's coming back now to try to get some of the Battle Royale pie. Even though I think that ship has now sailed and the contenders that are currently contending have any means of being part of that pie anymore. But, here's the Culling trying to come back and do it again. The Culling is kind of weird because it was one of the earlier ones before the trend of Battle Royale really blew up. I'm not saying it's the original one. I'm not saying it's the original Battle Royale, but it was one of the ones that started near the craze or right before the craze, before it just blew up to what it is now today. And it had a more focus on the melee combat rather than the gunplay combat that most Battle Royales had. Either way, it had a decent showing at first, but the game eventually just died. All games eventually do. I can't sit here and say and act like I know what I'm talking about when it came to the Culling, because I personally didn't play it. I saw people playing it, and for what they said, it was like, oh yeah, this is a fun little game, but eventually the game just died. It just utterly died. But as it be. And then they decided to come out with a sequel. I was watching that one because that game was an utter shit show. It was so bad that on release, it had barely more than 11 players. And in the Battle Royale, player count's kind of necessary for obvious reasons. But it was buggy, it was unfinished, the player count was shit, and it was so utterly terrible, they were forced to give refunds and pull it off of Steam. It was that bad. So now we're up to the Culling coming back the third time, the original game, the Culling, and it's called the Culling Origins. And it is doing some of the most irreprehensible, greedy, malicious kinds of microtransactions, well, not microtransactions, but monetization that I've ever seen. I'll have the video linked down below of the developer from the studio talking about it, but it's very, very bad. And I'm going to go step by step explaining some of the parts of it that I just have to sit there and question, what were they thinking? What was the ideas were rolling through their head when they decided this? So, the Culling Origins. If you own the original Culling game, you don't have to pay for it again. It's already yours. And during the video, not only does it call a monetization scheme, first off, which is, I don't know why you'd call something a scheme when you're trying to have it seen in a positive light, but he was like, oh, we couldn't do free to play. Doing cosmetics only doesn't work, or didn't work as a monetization model. So it works for Fortnite, and League of Legends, and Warframe, and Path of Exile, and all these other free-to-play games. But it doesn't work in yours. So what people with common sense would think is, oh, it's not working because our game isn't up to par, so people don't want to spend on it. But instead, you guys somehow deluded yourselves into thinking that the monetization of cosmetics was the problem. Because that's what they say first. They don't explain how they're going to fix the gameplay and draw players back in. The very first thing in the video they mention is how the monetization, that was the very first thing, their monetization scheme. I'm not calling it a scheme. I'm not trying to like delude what they're saying. They're the ones in the video who call it a monetization scheme. And they said it isn't working, even though there's countless other examples of other games doing it properly. So they just don't want to admit that their game is shit. Which is fine, no one really would want to admit their work is shit, but let's be real here. That's the only reason your game isn't being more properly well received. Obviously. So beyond that, they then go into what they're doing, how they're monetizing the game now to bring in profit. You had to buy the game, first off, period. You gotta first buy the game. And it's not expensive. It's only like $6-7, depending on where you are, possibly going up to 10, depending where you are. But the problem is, after that, Now, with most battle royales, after you win or lose a game, you're able to hop right into the next game so you can get over the frustration of you losing, right? So, what do you think they should do? Just let you keep playing the game, right? Letting the enjoyable gameplay loop carry you through the experience. No, that's not what they're doing in this game. Instead, what they are doing is each round cost you anywhere from around 25 cents to 40 cents. You get one free game or one free game of the Battle Royale a day, and then everything past that, you have to pay in tokens. So we're going back to like an old school arcade feel almost, where you are expecting to pay for each additional playtime of your game. First off, there's a reason that arcades are failing, but in what world do you think this model will work? You have Fortnite and Apex Legends, Darwin Project, Spellbreak, the Smite, not Paladins, the people who made Smite, they have one as well. They have a battle royale. All these other games have battle royales where you can hop right into. And your game, which has now failed twice, meaning that you don't have a player base who was interested in it to play because it's so bad, and you think that people will want to pay 25 cents to 40 cents each round. And you might be saying, oh, that's not that much. Well, yeah, but would you want to pay to keep playing a game like that when there's alternatives that are free from start to finish literally across the street? I know I wouldn't. And again, if the player base wasn't even there in the first place because the game was bad and they aren't fixing the game anymore, how is this going to do well? By their own monetization model, they are killing the main draw of what makes battle royales good, the other players to give you that combat. So think about it. The fact that they are splitting their player base, because there's going to be that one free game, and then you're going to have to really, really push yourself to say, do I want to spend additional money to pay for another game that I could... And you know what just dawned on me right now? Because of the very nature of battle royales, you could spawn in and you can just get unlucky, and your one game a day can get finished in like the first 30 seconds because someone spawned near you and got into the house or whatever place has the weapons that you picked up, got the weapons before you, and just kill you. That's the very nature of battle royales. Sometimes you're just unlucky and you just lose from the get-go. And you guys are telling me that you expect people to keep playing that, to pay to play your game. In fact, it's pay to play to pay to play. I'm 99% sure that in one of my prior videos talking about monetization that I called this happening. The only thing that surprises me at this point is that it's not EA who has taken up the mantle, but I'm pretty sure these guys are like that SpongeBob meme where they're like, write that down, because I would not be surprised if EA tries to pull something like this in the future. But yeah, I just want to talk about this. This game has already died twice, and now with this monetization model, it's about to die a third time. And it's actually, frankly, it's gone past the point of me feeling sad or being mad at these people, and now it's just I feel bad for them. Because this is just pathetic. Who is in their right mind is going to pay to play this game and then pay for each round? Your game already failed twice because the gameplay shit. And now you're telling me the gameplay shit and there's an additional paywall. Jesus Christ, man. Well, I really, really do hope the people who are working on that game have other opportunities of where they can continue to work down the line, because this is going to fail again for a third time. Either way, I hope everyone out there has a good morning, evening, day, or night. I'm going to go back to playing Persona 5 Royal now because I'm currently addicted. Either way, I'm out. Later.